If you're a dog trainer that has employees, you probably fall into one of two camps. Either you've got like a couple of core employees and they've been with you forever and it's just lovely, or you've got a revolving door type situation and you're having trouble keeping employees. And actually, one of the topics that comes up a lot when I'm working with professionals is that problem that they're having a hard time keeping their employees under their roof. And what's really interesting is I also work with a lot of folks that are those employees and they're quitting and they're starting a new business, and I get to hear why they're quitting, right? So I actually get to hear directly from these people and why they left. One of the most common reasons that I hear for why dog trainers are leaving their employment and trying to go off on their own is that they don't feel they're able to train the way that they want to train. Like they're being kind of locked into a rigid system and their employer wants them to do things a very, very specific way. And they maybe want to have some flexibility to train in a way that's more true to themselves. And I certainly experienced that as well running my business. Early on, I had no management experience and I definitely had the urge to micromanage my team. And I found that once I was kind of able to let go of that and I'm not trying to create little mini me's of myself, allowing my trainers to do things in their own way and just sort of being there to help guide and shape them. It was sort of then and only then that I really felt like my staff had a better work experience, but also that the quality of their work really, really excelled when they had more buy-in to it because it was theirs, right? It was their process that maybe I helped to influence in some ways.
Yeah, like you were giving them autonomy. They had a sense of agency in the work that they were doing. They could be more creative. That's really important. I think for me, if I see a business that keeps having a revolving door of employees, typically what I think that is that there's no company culture, right? And a lot of people will ask, like, what's a company culture? For me, a company culture is like the values and principles that are the skeleton of the company. Are you holding people accountable for doing something as simple as showing up on time, right? Like just having some type of accountability systems put in place, how people speak to one another. Are there rules, or like, is there shit talking allowed in the hallways? If you're not creating a space where people feel protected and everyone is held accountable equally, number one is it's going to turn into high school real quick, right? But on the same note, if you also develop a company culture where people who work hard are getting praised, the people are going to be more motivated to get praised and work hard. We give bonuses to people who have good attendance. We give bonuses to high performers every week. It's something that's just built into the culture. And, the cool part is when it comes from the top down, we have meetings and we have huddles as a team, and we create kind of like a sports team. We've created a culture where everyone has opportunities to speak their piece. Everyone has opportunities to come up with ideas. And we have systems where people feel heard and seen on a regular basis. I think without that company culture, it ends up just kind of being like a person higher up bossing everyone out to be them, right? And I used to do that too. And I pissed off a lot of people doing it that way. So over the years, learning how to build company culture was a huge thing for me.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off of that and say it's also important to have a sense of vision and direction for the company. And I think that lots of companies, they have that on paper, but they don't necessarily enact it day to day in their operations. And the same thing goes for lots of nonprofit organizations. They have a mission statement. They have an idea of what they want to do, but maybe that's not being upheld with how managers speak to staff and how staff speak to volunteers and so on and so on. And when you do that, I think some of the reasons that it helps you protect that company culture and it doesn't become high school is because not only is there a sense of accountability, which of course is important, but there's also just a sense of purpose. It's easier to not get caught up in the stuff that doesn't matter. This person said this or that person's wearing that when we have a higher purpose here. And so I would say really trying to focus one good time as the figurehead of your business. What is the vision here? What is the game plan here? And then making sure that everybody else who interacts with you on the daily has that same clarity of focus.
Yeah, I love that. It's amazing.